on how we do business at the ports for the overall growth of our nation's logistics ecosystem. At this point, I want to wish us all a fruitful deliberations and a very successful conference. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. What you wish us is what God will answer. A very successful conference today. And looking at the range of our panelists and the experts in this all, I have no doubt that this is one of those events built to succeed. I'd like to once again thank you for showing up. I have seen some of our sectoral groups chair that are here present. I see Alhaji Sada Ladan Baki, Chairman, LCCI Sport and Director at Dangote Cement. Let's put hands together for Alhaji. By the time Alhaji talks, you will know how passionate Alhaji is about the Chimba, your Chimba. Alhaji, we want to thank you for showing up. I've also seen the chair of Agri Group, my brother and friend, Banjoko Omotunde. Thank you so much, sir, for showing up. I've also seen the chair of I'm coming, let me check my notes. My sister and mother, always very calm and calculated in all her approaches, and even the way she walks, you know, she's very calm and calculated. Join me to make welcome the chair of Maritime Group, Madam Forlorn Shaw. Let's put hands together for her. Thank you, man. Thank you. This one's believe so much in Nigeria. If you look at our dress today, it's of Nigerian color. Thank you so much, man. My prayer is that in your lifetime, this country will work and work for all, not just work for some other people that we don't know. All right? While I'm still waiting for the list of some of the guests, okay. Wow. I would like to say that this list needs to be readjusted with better handwriting for me to see. I'm sorry. Please, let's have this written by good handwriting. I don't want to mispronounce names. I don't know what is written there. Please, can Shisara please help me use a good handwriting to write that list? What I'm committed to is I will recognize everyone here present. I don't want to mispronounce your name. I don't want to give your name as Ajayi as John, as I see on that list. Chisara, please use a good handwriting to help me get it out. All right. So while that is going on, we would like our president to make his opening remarks. But just before the president makes opening remarks, I like to say that you are once again welcome to LCCI. I will be giving you some other information later that will be of benefit to your businesses. One of it is our baby, the innovation hub of the Chimba. In case you have not heard about it, very soon some things will be displayed on the screen for you and how your business can maximize the opportunity of the LCCI Innovation Hub that is located at our Ikeja office. But just before that comes up, I'd like to make welcome the president of the Chamber and chairman of council. For his opening remarks, jam your hand together for my president, Mr. Gabriel Idaosa, FCA.
The Deputy President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Engineer Lea Kupuluyi, the Vice Presidents of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, the group chairman, a couple of group chairmen in the room, we welcome you. The chairman of our hosts, Chief Ali Shobande, we want to thank you for putting this together. It's an honor to address this critical gathering on a theme that is as timely as it is essential, from ports to prosperity, fixing the links in Nigeria's supply chain. This theme underscores the indispensable role of supply chain systems in shaping our nation's economic trajectory. I want to thank the group for initiating this conversation and for your steadfast commitment to improving Nigeria's logistics and trade ecosystem. A nation's economic viability and vitality is measured by its productive capacity and the efficiency with which goods and services move from one point of origin to the final destination. Our supply chain systems in Nigeria have historically been a source of promise and peril. The promise lies in our strategic location, our vibrant ports, entrepreneurial energy, and domestic market size. The dangers, however, lie in persistent inefficiencies, infrastructure deficits, regulatory bottlenecks, and endemic corruption. A broken supply chain is not merely a logistic issue, but an economic handicap. It drives inflation, deters an investment, both local and foreign, stifles productivity, and ultimately hampers and delays national prosperity. If Nigeria is to actualize its potential, we're almost getting tired of that word potential. As Africa's largest economy, we must urgently fix the broken links in our supply chain from the ports to the hinterland. Let us begin at the heart of the chain, the ports. Nigeria's ports, particularly those in Lagos, handle over 70% of the nation's imports and exports. Yet they are known for congestion, for inefficiencies, high charges, and procedural delays. And this is not based on opinion or speculation, but simple benchmark against ports, even in West Africa. Despite efforts at the reform, the Papa and Tinkan ports remain choke points. The road infrastructure servicing these ports is all overwhelmed. The electronic call-up system, an improvement, but still requires a lot more improvement. Inland container depots, which were meant to decentralize the port activity, are significantly underutilized, and a couple of them are still in progress. Beyond the ports, the situation along the logistics chain it's as it is. We face inadequate warehousing, fragmented logistics providers, absence of data integration, multiple checkpoints, and security concerns. These challenges cumulatively drive up the cost of doing business, with logistic costs in Nigeria reportedly accounting for up to 30 to 40% of product prices, one of the highest globally. It's important we speak to ourselves and be very clear about what we are facing. There are 5 key structural gaps. The first is infrastructure deficiency, poor roads, limited rail infrastructure, and weak power supply. Second is inefficient operations, characterized by manual processes, poor coordination among agencies, and outdated equipment. Third, regulatory overlap, bureaucracy, and multiple agencies with overlapping functions that create confusion and delays that are definitely avoidable. Fourth, end-to-end digital platforms that integrate stakeholders and are operational in ports around the world, including our region, are absent due to the lack of complete digitization. Fifth, security and transparency issues, from cargo theft to extortion and lack of trust, persist across the chain. Each of these gaps represents a broken link. Fixing them requires a multi-sectoral, multi-level strategy approach. So what can be done? Let us look at a possible, or if we like, an evident strategic roadmap that actually looks at our face as we deal with these challenges. First is the port reform itself, which is ongoing, and modernization. Nigeria must accelerate the automation of port processes. A unified, transparent, digitally accessible platform needs to be implemented for all port users, customs, shipping lines, terminal operators, freight forwarders. We need a 24-hour port operations, upgraded scanning technology, and reduced interface. All of these are not asking for anything that we are not familiar with in several parts of the world that most people in this room have visited and have actually done this kind of business. Second, infrastructure renewal. We need to prioritize and expedite road rehabilitation projects around the ports. We need to step up the standard gauge rail lines connecting Lagos ports to major economic hubs and fully operationalize dry ports and inland container depots to decongest our ports. Third, we need to harmonize. We are all familiar with the conversations about harmonizing the mandate of agencies, NPA, NIMASA, so on, customs, NAFDA. And of course, the newly launched National Single Window System to begin operations as soon as possible to provide the solutions that we have always tried to achieve. The government and private sector needs to partner to invest in modern warehousing and cold chain logistics, especially for agriculture and pharmaceuticals. Fifth, digital transformation. We all have said so, and we believe that we are all committed to the adoption of integrated logistics management software, blockchain for cargo tracking, and AI for demand forecasting. And on the strength of that, promote local logistics startups with incentives and digital infrastructure. This is an area where we have enormous advantage. The fintech, the tech industry in this country is #1 in Africa. The tech industry is not just #1 in Africa. It has established itself as one of the fastest growing tech industry in the world. So our maritime space has the tech industry sitting here in Lagos to support most of what we are saying. Finally, we need to upskill freight forwarders, custom officers, and logistics personnel, and establish codes of conduct and voluntarily enforce accountability. Transparency is the foundation of the chain, and it requires voluntary acceptance. This is not a task for government, and this is certainly not a talk shop, as our chairman has said. And players in the industry know that there are specific reforms, including some levies that were proposed by government in recent times, that the LCCI led the charge to get them reversed. So private sector players must lead in investment, innovation, and collaboration. As the bridge between trade and transport, freight forwarders play a pivotal role in advocating for and adopting best practices. Financial institutions should provide supply chain financing, and our development partners can support capacity building. Government, on their part, needs to provide the enabling environment. The LCCI, for its part, will continue to push for policy reforms, foster dialogue among stakeholders, and promote initiatives that enhance trade efficiency. The price for getting this right is enormous. An efficient supply chain will reduce cost of goods and services. It will significantly reduce inflation. It will enhance Nigeria's competitiveness in AFCFTA. It will attract foreign direct investment. And we keep saying in LCCI, domestic direct investment. Improve food security, create many jobs, more jobs, and unlock industrial growth. When the supply chain works, prosperity becomes a shared reality. It connects our farmers to markets, manufacturers to buyers, and SME to global value chains. It is this invisible engine of economic development that we are talking about. So let us move from diagnosis to action. Let us transition from fragmented reforms to a coordinated national strategy. Let us turn Nigeria's logistics nightmare into an economic dream. The road from ports to prosperity is paved with vision, with investment, discipline, and collaboration. Let us fix the links, not merely for the ease of doing business, but for the future of our nation. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, for the opening remark. Clearly, we are taking very good steps forward to today's event. I promised that I was going to recognize, and I will do so, all of us that are here present today. I have the first list. Please join me to make welcome today Mr. Kingsley Igwe. He is the Registrar CEO of Council for Regulation of Freight Forwarders of Nigeria. Igwe, thank you, sir. Thank you for coming. We also have the representative of MD of the Nigerian Port Authority here today. We have Mr. Adedigbe Joseph Adewumi. He's AGM, Corporate and Strategic Planning, represents the MD of Nigerian Port Authority. Thank you, sir. I will do orders as I have the list given to me. But next now to speak to us is the same man that I just mentioned, the representative of the MD of Nigerian Port Authority. He's here today to make, as a keynote speaker, put your hands together for Mr. Adedigbe Joseph Adewumi. Let's keep laughing for the representative of MD, please. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adegbite Joseph Adewumi. The MC is trying to tinker with my name, yes. The president of the chamber and the chairman, the head of various sectoral groups, on behalf of the managing director, who has sent me here to deliver his keynote address. He sent his warm regards to the August gathering today, and I wish you a fruitful deliberation, yes. I will proceed. I'll proceed with the keynote address here. It is with great pleasure that I stand before you on this auspicious occasion to deliver this keynote address. I am particularly elated with this invitation coming from the sectoral group of freight forwarders, a critical group of stakeholders in our business. As you are aware, the port is a community of stakeholders working in harmony to achieve efficiency. For us at the Nigerian Port Authority, we do not take any occasion for granted, but see it as an opportunity to showcase our ports or rub minds on ways of improving the efficiency of our ports. The choice of topic from port to prosperity, fixing the links in Nigerian supply chain, is not only germane, but timely, in line with Mr. President's priority area on enhancing infrastructure and transportation as enablers of growth. It is important to note that port is a nodal point in total logistic chain. In other words, the port system, by virtue of being nodal points in the transport system, facilitate trade, which in turn foster greater national economic development. It is no coincidence, therefore, that our seaports are considered as the gateway to the nation's economy. It is an established fact that over 80% of trade volumes in goods are carried by sea. So the port is a critical nodal point in global logistics. It is to say, from port to prosperity, because the advantage of having a seaport in a country is the evolution of many other economic activities around it. For instance, the port terminal will need to be operated by a company. The vessel at the ports will need to be husbanded by an agency. The freight has to be forwarded by an agent. The consignment has to be transported to and from the port using any of the modes of transport. Warehousing may be done by third parties, and the chain goes on and on. This activity do not only provide employment opportunity for the citizen, but help in generating wealth and unleashing humongous multiplier effects in the economy. Port is a crucial node in global logistic chain. It is important to know that port business is a flow business with 4 distinct features. 1, onboard operations. 2, onshore operations. 3, storage. And 4, delivery. There must be necessarily seamless operation or transition from one stage to another. Otherwise, there will be congestion in our port system, which is antithetical to efficiency. And this comes at a cost. This explains why port operation technology must be enabled towards ensuring optimization of time and space in the maritime environment. These are the kernel or centerpiece of port operations. Linked to the above is the need for synergy between the maritime space and interland connectivity for seamless cargo evacuation. Without sync between the port and interland, there is a propensity for cargo congestion along the port corridors. This is not without its domino effects on port operations, as the port space begins to be constricted, culminating in ship congestion. It is important, therefore, to know that port ecosystem is a community with many actors. Consequently, there must be strategic collaboration with same vision of guaranteed trade facilitation. Otherwise, we will be working at cross purposes, thereby functioning in a way that disrupt trade flow, and attendant benefits. The Nigerian port is not unaware of the facts of these facts, and so constantly making efforts to do our part. We know that for supply chain to be seamless, we have to provide the right channel for the vessels calling our ports, make provision for other marine services, ensure other infrastructure such as quays and fenders, and good access road. For the avoidance of doubt, I wish to highlight some effort by the Port Authority in fixing the links for seamless service delivery. Some of these are reinforcement of port infrastructure. It is a deliberate effort to revamp the decrepit quays and breakwaters to receive more vessels. 2, port modernization agenda, which is to kickstart by the Q4 of 2025. Use of technology for our revenue invoicing management system and ship entry notice. Reviewing the electronic call-up system for greater efficiency and minimal costs. Acquisition of marine craft for towage, pilotage, and marine services. Port community system that is a precursor to the national single window. Establishment of the export processing terminals in conjunction with the Nigerian Customs Service. 8, exploring multimodal system for cargo evacuation to the hinterlands. 9, working with the private sector to develop more deep sea ports. For us in MPA, excellence itself is work in progress. We always believe that, like the chain, our strength will be in our weakest link. Therefore, we are open to constructive discussions that will help us to improve our service delivery. On this note, I want to thank everyone here for your kind attention. Please sit back and do have a fruitful deliberation. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So much, sir. All right. Thank you, sir, for a good representation of the CEO of the MD of the Nigerian Port Authority. Thank you, sir, for at least correcting your name as I mispronounced it. What I have here is Adedigbe, but now I know it's Adegbite. Thank you, sir. All right. We need to move to another guest speaker who is going to make a presentation to us. But just before I call him up, let me recognize the list, the second list I have. I promise I will do so, so I will fulfill my promise, so that my promise doesn't become an audio promise as it is with some of our policies. I'm not a politician, of course you can say. Thank you so much. So I'd like to recognize, as I have on the list, the representative of the Executive Secretary and the CEO of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Mr. Pius Ukeyima Akuta, MON. He's here today represented by Omonai J.O. Can we have him if he's in the house? Let's put hands together for him. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. We also have with us today Mr. Daniel Odibe. He is the Deputy Chief Operating Officer representing the MD CEO Lekki D Seaport. Let's put hands together for Mr. Odibe. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We also have the head of operation here representing Mr. Frederick Killick, MD APN Terminals, Mr. Rian. Permit me, I can't, this one is very long. Mr. Rian, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. We have with us today, I can see them. If I don't do so, maybe they won't allow me to get out of this hall. Put your hands together for the controller. Babatunde Olomu is the area controller, Nigerian Customs Service, heavily represented by H.A. Eromabo. Put your hands together for him, please. Thank you, sir. Also, one of us in-house, Dr. Ikena Nwosu, is the deputy chair of this group. Put your hands together for Dr. Ikena. Okay, he's far behind. Okay, thank you, sir. All right, so next to speak to us or make his presentation is the Executive Secretary and CEO of Nigerian Shipper Council, ably represented here today by Mr. Omonai Jeho. Put your hands together for Mr. Jeho, please. He'll be talking to us in about 10 minutes. I know, you know, when you see people like this, they don't have nothing. 1 minute is okay. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, all. Please, I stand on the existing protocol, and I sincerely apologize for inability of our ESCEO to represent this gathering, this August gathering. However, he has given me the authority to present this paper on his behalf. So I'm reading what he gave to us to present to this gathering. So I read. Presentation by Dr. Akuta Pius Ukeyima, Esquire, MON, FCIT, FNS, TTA, PhD, Executive Secretary, Nigerian Shippers Council, NSC, at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Freight Forwarders Group Conference held on Wednesday, 23rd July, 2025, at Commerce House, 1 Idowu Taylor Street, Victoria Island, Lagos. The topics from port to prosperity, fixing the links in Nigerian supply chain. I start by introduction. Nigerian maritime and port sector stand as a vital artery in the national economy, serving as the gateway for over 80% of international trade by volume. Ports are the physical nodes through which goods flow, connecting our local economy to global value chains. Despite this strategic importance, inefficiencies and systemic bottlenecks along the supply chain have hampered the sector's full potentials. With appropriate investment in both hard and soft infrastructure and the right policy environment, Nigeria can transform its ports into powerful engines of prosperity. Key challenges in the supply chain ecosystem. While efforts have been made to reform the maritime sector, several issues continue to impede efficiencies and competitiveness. These are port and cargo clearance delay due to bureaucratic bottlenecks and lack of process automation. Poor intermodal connectivity, particularly bad access road, underdeveloped rail links, and limited inland waterways integration. Integration and data sharing among and operations, leading to fragmented logistics operations. Visibility and tracking to lodges, informal levies, security vulnerabilities, including theft, beverages, and weak enforcement mechanism, policy inconsistencies and regulatory overlaps, limited uptake of globally recognized digital innovations, such as the International Cargo Tracking Node, ICTN. The Council strategic interventions. The Nigerian Shippers Council, as a port economic regulator and a trade facilitator, has adopted a multi-pronged strategy combining infrastructure development, digitalization, stakeholder coordination, and regulatory innovations. We have had, among these are hard infrastructure projects. Number one is inland dry ports, IDPs. The council has been able to develop under the PPP BOTT model in strategic location, Kaduna, Kano, Jos, Ibadan, Aba, Funtua, Meduguri. IDPs bring port services closer to hinterland shippers, reduce congestion at seaport, and facilitate export by landlocked neighboring countries. Then we have the VATs, vehicle transit area. These are public rest stops for truckers with fueling, maintenance, security, and accommodation services to support road safety and orderly freight movement. Then we have border information centers, we call them BICs, to facilitate trade and address documentation and clearance challenges at Nigerian land borders. Then we have container freight stations, CFS. These are efforts to decongest port terminals and provide off-dock handling facilities. Then we have soft infrastructure and digital platform. We have the International Cargo Tracking Node, ICTN. As part of effort to enhance trade security, revenue assurance, and cargo visibility, Nigerian Shippers Council is driving the reintroduction of the ICTN scheme. It allows for advanced cargo declaration, ship profiling, and electronic validation of manifest data, reducing risks of underdeclaration, smuggling, and port congestion. Then we have a cargo tracking and monitoring system. These are deployment of digital tools to track cargo from origin to destination across multimodal platforms. Then we have e-logistic platform. These are collaboration with stakeholders to enable end-to-end digitalization of documentations, payments, and scheduling of cargo clearance. They will have port service support desk and complaint resolution platform for real-time resolution of those disputes and service failure, complaint from shippers and freight forwarders. The path forward. Number one, strengthening policy and regulations. Ongoing engagement with the National Assembly and Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy on the Nigerian Port Economic Regulatory Agency, NIPERA. The NIPERA bill to provide a solid legal framework for economic regulation, standardization of port pricing, and dispute resolution mechanism. Then policy alignment with international best practices and commitment under WTO, World Trade Organization Trade Facilitation Agreement, TFA, and AFTA protocols. Then we have digitalization and interoperability, institutionalizing single window platform for cargo clearance and port operations, encouraging agency collaboration to eliminate redundant processes and promote data sharing. Enhancing multimodal connectivity. These are advocacy for the rehabilitation and integration of rail corridors and inland waterways for cargo evacuation. These are very key. Collaboration with MPA, NIMASA, NRSC, Nigeria Railway Corporation, and FEMA for seamless multimodal logistic connectivity. Then we have investment in human capacity and technology adoption. We continue to continue training and capacity building for port users, custom agents, freight forwarders, and regulatory personnel to align with emerging global trends and standards. Conclusion. The theme From Port to Prosperity aptly captures the transformative potentials of our maritime sector when leakages across the supply chain are fixed through infrastructure modernization, regulatory reforms, digital adoption, and stakeholder collaborations. The Nigerian Shippers Council remains resolute in its mission to drive these changes and ensure that Nigerian ports become competitive, transparent, and aligned with global trade expectations. Together, we can build a logistics system that truly delivers prosperity for all. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, sir, for that good representation of the Executive Secretary, CEO of the Nigeria Shippers Council. At this point, we need to move very fast. We will take like 3 goodwill messages, 2 minutes each, I'm told. So first is the one and only chairperson of the Maritime Trade Group here at LCCI. Put your hands together for the pretty, ever young Mrs. Fumi Folorunsho. Put your hands together for her, please. Yes. Very well. Thank you. All men should copy me.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my Yoruba people will say, when you want to see the teeth of an old woman, call her pretty. He just did that. On behalf of the Maritime Group, first and and we appreciate you. But we are asking as a group that deeper collaboration between the groups, maritime, freight forwarding, and all the others that LCCI affords us. Under this roof, we have the whole economy residing here as groups. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our president could not have done much more than he did, creating a dedicated maritime blue economy ministry. Through this platform, we want to commend him and our honorable minister for the gigantic steps they have taken. Where were we 30 years ago under transportation? But there needs to be more done. I have said we appreciate the LCCI, we appreciate the Freight Forwarding Group, but we want to use this opportunity. 3 specific issues. Mr. Debite, I have you on my telephone, but as AFCFTA. So when you came up, I was saying to myself, that's the same Joseph now. We were together at the AFCFTA, Ports to Prosperity. Let us look at the AFCFTA deeply. That's the prosperity we're looking at. Let us leave issues of what is not available in our ports and what needs to be done. My president has said, let's be focused. Action. What do we do from tomorrow morning? Strengthen what we have and look at the future. Ship owners are worried about the fuel emission, and our ports must look at that. IMO is going, GHQ, all of that carbon emission, blah, blah, blah. Our ports have not started discussions on that. And that is where prosperity lies. Don't come near me, gentlemen. This needs to be said. We have, with our group, a focus on our ports. We're going to be having issues of carbon emission, long-term billions that Nigerian ports must contend with. There are legal lapses. You're working with laws that do not conform with the realities of today's economy. Mr. President of the LCCI, you did say strategic roadmap. And I am adding, with your kind permission, a strategic roadmap with a single focus. And I'll tell you why. When you want to measure how well customs has done in this country, you measure it by the revenue. You do not measure it by how they have ensured ease of doing business, attraction to, nah. Once they make 1 trillion and 1 billion, you see they've done well. But they have made it by narrowing the ease of doing business, the ports. We could go on and on, but we will leave it at that. To the MDNPA, P to P, ports to prosperity. But there's a narrow gap that we have got to articulate and bring to our attention. Finally, in the next 20 days, we will be having internationally what we call the Revised African Maritime Transport Charter. I will be who ask LCCI to gather us together to speak ports and prosperity under the African Maritime Transport Charter. I took more than 2 minutes, but I hope it was worth your while.
Thank you so much. I told you, she just ordered me, don't come near me. And I must obey. She took more than 2 minutes, but it's worth it. So for the next goodwill message is my brother. I know you can do it in 1 minute. I trust him. Let's put hands together for Mr. Babatunde Banjoko, the chairman of LCCI Agri and Agro Ally Group.
Good morning, everyone. So I will do 1 minute like he had advised. I want to congratulate the Freight and Forward Group for this good initiative. And I want to congratulate every member of that group. But one thing that I think we should take note, every Nigerian can talk about the problem. I have 2 young daughters. They ask me questions these days that I wonder how much of Nigeria they know. And at times I ask myself, if they know this much about the issues of Nigeria, as much as I think I'm shielding them from some realities, they still ask me questions and I'm wondering, from an 8-year-old, from an 11-year-old. So I've come to the conclusion that everybody knows the problem of power, problem of ports, but we now need to start talking about the solutions. And I also have come to the conclusion that the solution does not lie completely with the government or our regulators. We'll have to, as private sectors, start playing our own parts, complaining, I speak a lot on media. You can complain. I'm doing another one next week in Abuja. You can complain, you can talk. And you know, I was invited to that Abuja when they said, we were looking for someone that can confront the regulators. Today we thought about you, come. You know, but I realize you can talk. We need now to start looking at how can we, as private sectors, and that's what I'm looking at this conference this morning, we'll be able to come up with some ideas, thoughts. You know, as I sat there, something came to mind. Recently in Nigeria used cars became almost at par with Tokumbo cars because of the bottlenecks at our ports. People can do business the way they ought to. I also reflected as a farmer that some years back, I think 2017 precisely, a yam was returned from the ports and several billion. Some of us also who are trying to play some little games around exports were discouraged. And Nigerians now had to take product to Ghana. The same product that was returned in Nigeria, they had to take it to Ghana to export because of our issues. And now one of my farm in Abeokuta, I'll be on the farm and you see people trying to still do what is called firewall. What's the involved firewall? Mr. Sunday, you'll help me. You know, smuggling, you know, and at times I was asking a custom man, sorry, I hope I won't be arrested. One day I said, some people are passing, you know they are passing. They say those ones do, I think, is this settlement? They use the term, those ones who pass. But the other ones that are not, that are not doing the right, the so-called settlement, you see them pursuing them with guns. There was a day I had to go and park somewhere. I was scared. They said they are looking for somebody. I said, what are you looking for? The ones that are moving freely in front of you, doing nothing. But the ones that have not given you what you were expecting, you are very active. So my prayer and thought is that at this meeting this morning, we'll be able to come up with, we all know the challenges, like I said, port congestion, infrastructure. Technology is not even, a neighbor of mine who is into freight forwarding, some weeks back, it was coming up around 12. So he called me in the morning. I said, why? He said, they just brought in some new laws. We are trying to understand it, some new platforms. He said, we are trying to understand. So I had to work till 12:01 in the morning. And I'm wondering, does that change corruption? And we have a system that enables corruption. As I was coming this morning, some road safety guys were in front of me trying to stop some cars. So a guy driving a bus made up his mind I wasn't going to stop. So the guy went with speed. And my wife said, this guy is not scared. I said he's not scared. He will kill anybody in front of him. I now told my wife some experience that even me, I had in the last 1 or 2 weeks with police on the road. I said, this guy will kill anybody who stands in front of him. And the guy, after driving through, I said, can you see the guy is calm now? I said, our officers brings a kind of adrenaline, tension, that all you want to do is find a way to escape them. So I'm praying and wishing that this morning our regulators too will take 1 or 2 notes from our conversation and see how they can make the ease of doing business, not just on paper, but to be our experience. I read the paper this morning. I saw that our growth for July, half-year report for Nigeria, we grew by 3.13%. But what does that translate to an average Nigerian? We hear prosperity on paper, but this prosperity should be our experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. We hear prosperity on paper. It should be translated to reality. All right. Thank you so much. We are at the junction where how to move this prosperity from paper to our pocket is where we are now, which is the panel session. And I urge that please let's give our best. Let's take note. We will have a time for feedback, question and answer from the panelists. You will also permit me to drink water immediately after now. So I will give us a moderator who will take care of this session for the next 45 minutes. Please jam your hand together for Dr. Iken Anwosu, the Deputy Chairperson of LCCI here. Please let's clap for him until he comes to the front. He will be moderating this session. He will call out his guests and deal with them as appropriate to make the prosperity from paper to our pocket. Once again, Dr. Ikena, you're welcome. I hand you over your guest to deal with them as appropriate. No, I don't know. Check your note. Like, these are their names. This one is their representation. Okay, let me help you out. All right, thank you so much. He has urged that I help bring some of the representative that are representing some of the guests up, and I have the list here. So, first, we will have the Executive Secretary and the CEO of Nigerian Shippers Council that is heavily represented here today by our brother, Mr. Oman Nain, J.O. Let's put hands together for him, please. He gave a speech on behalf of the Executive Secretary, so he's here today. Moderator, I will have advised to pick how many of them? 7, okay. I would have suggested you stay at the edge so that they can be seeing your face. No, moderator, you need the table. Okay, that's fine. All right. You can, yes, you are the first. Let's put hands together again for our brother, Controller Babatunde Olomu, who is here also represented by H.A. Eromabo. Put hands together for him. Thank you, sir. So take any seat you want. You are free. Mrs. Adenike Aboderi, MD/CEO, Skyway Aviation Handling Company. Can we put hands together for her? Yes, represented by, I don't have the name here. Please, please come up stage, please. I'll get your name at the appropriate time. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Please come up and take your seat. I know you're going to take the one that is facing you straight. That's good. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Also, we have Alhaji Sada Landambaki, one of us here, the chairperson of LCCI Export Group. Is it that Alhaji sits beside the Controller General or he takes his another option, anywhere he likes? Yes, that's good. Thank you, Alhaji. Also, the MD APM Terminals, who is also here represented today by Mr. Rihan. Put your hands together for him, please. Thank you. Thank you, sir. You see, as this man is adoring in our color, I mean, you know, made in Nigeria. And some of us, we knock tie. Yes, yes, that's good. I like this. I like this. We'll make more of this for you so that you'll be, that's fine. The representative of the Lekki Deep Seaport, Mr. Daniel Odibe. Please, Mr. Daniel Odibe, join us on the front row. Thank you, sir. See? Also, love Nigeria, we are Nigeria. I like this. This is good. Thank you, sir. Last but not the least, Mr. Kingsley Igwe. Mr. Kingsley Igwe is also represented here this morning. Is here. Mr. Kingsley Igwe, put your hands together for the Registrar CEO, Council for Regulation of Freight Forwarders of Nigeria. Another Nigerian, I mean, love Nigeria, Eat Nigeria, dress Nigeria. This is good, sir. Igwe, I greet you, sir. You are welcome. Thank you, sir. So, Dr. Ikena, I leave the group in your hands. This is power.
I will allow me to apologize for that. I'm the moderator. I have the microphone now. I have the microphone. My president, good morning, sir. I greet you. The managing director of SACO.
Sorry, I'll steal from your time. You know, it will be a professional crime and also another crime, which I will talk about later if I don't recognize our brother here, who had served Lagos meritoriously and is also serving at national level. Put your hands together for one and only Dr. Kayode Okoifa, MD, Nigerian Railway Corporation. Thank you, sir. You were supposed to make a goodwill at a point before I brought up the panel. Now that you're here, Dr. Okoifa, I will allow you make your goodwill because that goodwill can be something better for us here at LCCI. With this, our Emilio Concap. Put your hands together for our one and only brother, Dr. Kayode Okoifa, for his goodwill message. A lover of Lagos, a servant of Lagos.
Yeah, good morning. Oh, sorry, good afternoon. Really, for freight forwarder, there should be no morning or afternoon. Every day should be good morning because the morning brings hard work. So, and the morning also brings the good luck. Let me say I'm highly delighted to be here, and for whatever reasons, I almost forgot about it. And when I was reminded, I said, anything coming from Lagos Chamber of Commerce, I must attend, even if it's 1 minute notice. And I'll tell you why. The reason is that when I was in Lagos for 8 years, we, at the Ministry of Transportation, we had good partnership with the Chamber of Commerce. And there I got to sharpen my understanding of business in the mobility sector. And your former DG, Dr. Muda Yusuf, happens to be my first ghetto if I need to clear anything on economic basis as it relates with the transport sector. And just yesterday, there was a good news that I felt I need to call him to help me dimension. The Q1 data for 2025 was released, and it said the rail sector ranks among the first 10 in the growing sector. And I was just thinking of calling him to ask him, can you please explain this further, or what does this mean? But the good news here is this, is that if we talk of the rail sector contributing to GDP, we are simply talking about the freight. And you are the people that definitely are responsible for that. So it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that this program is coming up at this moment. What is important is that the reward for good work is more work. And when I resumed office, January 30th, my first day in office, among the 20 paragraphs of my speech, one was dedicated to freight by rail. Another one was dedicated to improving the national GDP. That is the contribution of the mobility sector to the national GDP. and to ensure that we push Nigeria GDP contribution from the transportation sector. When I say transportation, I mean transport, logistics, supply chain, and whatever is related, to no less than 6%. And I would hope the rail alone should be able to contribute 3%. Then Nigeria will move from developing to develop. Any nation where the mobility sector, including transport, logistics, pipelines, and the rest, contributes less than 6%, that economy can never develop. And that is the reason why they're sitting the gathering here today, and I want to commend the Lagos Chamber of Commerce. You need to do more. A lot is going on in this country, and this sector is grossly not respected, grossly not appreciated. There is a need, especially from the Lagos Chamber of Commerce. I repeat it, from the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. When you talk of freight, you talk of logistics, the hub in Nigeria is Lagos. Yeah, the North Central is key for distribution, but the Lagos section determines what happens. Maybe when on airports, all other deep sea ports comes up, we start talking some other centers. But as of today, or is it as of today, the Lagos hub remains critical. We can do everything in this country we want to do in power. We can do everything we want to do in oil and gas. As long as the freight, the logistics sector does not play a central role, we may not. I'm not saying we will not. We may not get to where we want to get to. Go and check the economy of the United States. When they measure the number of trailers, trucks on the road, and they see a decline, they say the economy is shrinking. They are not measuring figures. They are just measuring the number of trucks. And that's one. When they look at the freight movement from the US to Canada or US to Mexico and the inland freight movement, and they see it contracting or somehow, they will say in another 1 year, 2 years, the economy may go into recession, because it's an indicator of measuring what is going on in the manufacturing. When the freight sector is not doing well, or something is happening in the freight sector, many things could happen. One, is either the sector is sick, something is going on that has to be fixed, or two, the manufacturing is not producing enough for the freight to carry. So your sector represents a vital part of this economy. The issue I also want you to look into is the issue of data and statistics. We need to start collecting data to develop our own freight index. I don't know what it will be called, but I monitor from the BTS, Bureau for Transport Statistics of the United States, on a weekly, monthly basis. They release the American Freight Index. And from the American Freight Index, me, I know as an illiterate in statistics, I can figure that something is about to happen to America. So we can develop the same thing in Nigeria. I just see the customer. Let me commend the customs for doing a good job. In the last 2 years or so, the Apapa Port Customs and the Nigerian Customs Services generally have been doing a wonderful job in making sure that freight movement is improved. But specifically to you from the Nigerian Railway, we have developed 2 things that will interest you. Number one is optimizing what we have. And the number 2 is the freight by rail revolution. Optimizing what we have is that we are focusing on the Lagos to Kano line, that narrow gauge. Our plan before now was to get it ready by June 30th, so that you can move your freight on the narrow gauge on INDAD from Lagos to Kaduna, from Kaduna to Kano, from Kano to Nguru, from Kano to Kaura Namoda. If we believe, if we get that done, a huge amount of freight movement in Nigeria for that corridor will move by rail. Either some will move there to Ilorin, continue the journey, move to Ibadan, continue their journey. Those people who are mining in Kogi and Niger State will move their lithium and all those stuff they are moving onto the rail, and they can reduce the cost of freight and bring down the cost of goods. But we encounter some issues which are not unsurmountable, and we are dealing with it. That is watch outs on those corridors. There are environmental issues. People have abused physical planning systems, and the water is moving where it wants to move. Then finally, the Mokwa flood. The Mokwa flood took 60 meters of our rail, 4 meters high, completely off. The whole 60 meter by 4 meter high was swept away by the flood, and we now have a hanging rail. I want to assure you we're working with the government of Niger State, Federal Ministry of Transportation, federal government will fix it, and then the rail will come back. That's on the freight by rail. We currently move, before now we are moving cement to Ilorin, before the Dagbulu washout, sometimes in May. Now we can't get to Ilorin. So we are going to fix it and make it sustainable, so that even if there is a washout, the train will still move. And we move cement, we're now moving soda ash, we move coils, we move containers, and we move gypsum. And we have been approached by many of your clients. I don't want to mention them. The big guys in Apapa manufacturing, and then the big guys in Kaduna produce market are also interested moving by freight. They are all contributing. We have quadrupled the quantity we move in the last 6 months, and we are reaching capacity. That's the bad news. But if we fix that Lagos-Kano route, there will be more business for all of you. So we have the optimizing what we have, that is the narrow gauge, we will optimize it. It's the only rail line in Nigeria that is above 400 kilometers. And for you guys, any rail distance less than 400, it doesn't make any sense. But the genius in you, or the geniuses in you, are currently moving a lot on the Apapa to Ibadan, standard gauge. And some of you guys are moving up to Oshogo. The good news is that the government, the Nigerian government, have decided, and the good news came out again yesterday, we know it before, that there is now approval for $21 billion for more money, right? And one of the newspapers broke the news that the $3 billion of that is going for the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri line. And what that means, the other side that was not broken outbreak, is that government have decided to move the Port Harcourt line to Onne Port. And government have also decided to move the Apapa line to Tinkan Port. So that will make much more volume, much more frequency, and the ease of doing business. And the customs will be relaxed because all they need to do is now to set up more bonded terminals around the country, and goods can move freely. So I want to congratulate the freight forward that's group, which a group have been partnering with for the past 15, 20 years, and I will continue to partner with. I can also see our chairman is around, or Mr. President, sir. I also want to commend you for your you're doing, and the Nigerian Railway is ready to partner more. And whatever you need us to do, we are ready to do. Our essence in this, our responsibility is to make it easy for you guys to do your business. That is what the Renew Hope agenda of Mr. President is all about. We are ready to bend without breaking until we satisfy you. And I can assure you the Nigerian Railway is business friendly. Thank you.
Once again, put your hands together for Dr. Kayode Okwefa. Just before we allow the panel session, kick off immediately, Dr. Okwefa, you had said, and I believe you, the Nigerian Railway Corporation is committed to business. We know so. Before you go, sir, yes, I have a personal request on behalf of the chamber. Aside the requests that the leadership of the chamber will be making as promised by you, the Nigerian Railway Corporation, we want to put the activities and the beautiful things that the Nigerian Railway Corporation is doing to the faces of our members. So we have this one unique way of doing that apart from all of our events. We run every year, we run what we call the tabletop calendar, where that is given to all of our members every year, and also some other stakeholders that we engage with in the business community. I feel it's a good platform for you to tell the world and tell the business community what really well Nigerian Railway Corporation will be doing or is doing in a way to impact businesses and make business go forward. Before you go, I will discuss with you or your PA on how we can make that happen so that you get on board on the calendar 2026. On that note, I know you are doing like this. I'll talk about the calendar much later because I know your business want to be there. I hand it over to Dr. Nwosun for the next 40 minutes let him deal with you as he likes, positively, I know.
Thank you very much, MC. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President, standing on the existing protocol, if you permit me, I welcome all the panelists. I want to begin by apologizing that despite our best intentions, the managing director of SACOL is not here in person, Mrs. Adenike Aboderi. She would have been the single lady on the panel because we don't want to be criticized for not having gender sensitivity. But our Director General is a woman, and the chairman of our membership committee is a woman as well. So the Lagos Chamber of Commerce has a gender sensitivity policy. So I'd like to emphasize that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have 7 panelists, 3 goodwill messengers, that's 10, 2 speakers, that's 12, and myself as moderator. There are 13 resource persons here. Please give all of them a round of applause. There's a resounding round of applause. Why do I say so? The last speaker, Dr. Pefa, hit the nail on the head. The private sector, Mr. President, this is a message to take back to council. The private sector, the real sector of the economy, is not appreciated. I'm quoting him. Dr. Pefa, I'm quoting what you said. The real sector of the economy is not appreciated. And this is particularly important for us in this chamber because when someone who was in the public sector, state and now federal, can resonate with our challenges as private sector operators and speaks to this, it's very important as a takeaway for all of us in the room. The particular reason why this event is being held today, look at the theme of the event. It reflects with what Dr. Pefa has just said. From ports to prosperity. Fixing the links in Nigeria's supply chain. From ports to prosperity. You have seaports. You have airports. You have land ports. You have rail ports. Many people don't know this. So it's multimodal. And that is part of why our chairman, Chief Shabande, found it extremely important to invite Dr. Pefa to this event because rail logistics is one of the 4 logistics arms that is required to fix the links. I have 7 distinguished panelists here. Before I go to ask them this question, I want everybody in the room to understand 2 things. 1, the conversation here is serious, and the report will go out to government and private sector. 2, the private sector is not smiling. COVID-19 pandemic exposed the weaknesses of supply chains across every country in the world, developed and developing, for which vaccines were not able to be delivered in time, and there were a lot of avoidable deaths. They could not be delivered in time, some because of logistics difficulties, some because of issues relating to the speed of documentation with customs, and it resulted in the World Customs Organization signing an MOU with the World Health Organization for expediting cargo clearance and ensuring that the supply chain resilience is the focus of customs rather than revenue generation and trade facilitation alone. Strengthening the supply chain resilience. That is the reason why we are here today. How can we strengthen the resilience of supply chains? So, with that background, let me start with one of the regulators who have spoken. The managing director of the executive secretary and CEO of the Nigerian Shippers Council. He's ably represented by my good friend, Mr. Femi Omonai. So I have a question for you. Now, in response to and please, all panelists, you need to keep your answers straight to the point because we have a dedicated time to be here. In response to the justifiable concerns of sector stakeholders, the concerns of stakeholders, what steps has the Shippers Council, Nigerian Shippers Council, taken for a deep dive regulation of commercial shipping lines and terminal operators, particularly in the areas of getting them to digitize, improve customer service, and improve their service operating times to include even weekends? Because as far as we know, it is 8 p.m. terminal, alone, that on a Saturday or a Sunday, you can, in your room, on your mobile phone, download your debit note, pay to take your cargo out, even though they do not offer TDO services on weekend. So what step is Shippers Council taking to effectively regulate them, to give better customer service, more service time, and digitize to achieve government's 24-hour service? That way, we shall close up any gaps in the supply chain. Thank you.
Hello. Once again, I thank everyone here for the opportunity for me to speak on this. Nigerian Shippers Council has been in the forefront of digitalization of operational activities at the port. And we have been working closely with the both terminal operators, CP agents, CP line, whatever, to make sure that they up their games. Because we believe that the logistic problem we're having in Nigeria can be solved by effective digitalization process. So we encourage them even on a daily basis. We advocate for them to digitize their operational activities. We have collaboration with Nigerian Shippers, Nigerian Customs Service. Even recently, I think the Lekki Deep Sea Port can testify that we were at your port and we saw what you put on ground, that most of your operational activities are seamless. So that is what we do in the industry, so that we won't encounter any form of problem, so that the ease of doing business will be taken as serious as it is possible, because we believe that logistic trade is as important to the economy Because the more you are able to get your goods, your cargo, to the nearest point of destination, the more the value, the cost of doing business will be less. So we have been doing a lot concerning that, and we're still continuing, and we're encouraging both through sensitization, through calls, through whatever means, to ensure that the ports and the logistic system work.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Optimally.
Thank you very much. So a key takeaway here for all of us, and it's going to be in a report, that the Nigerian Shippers Council has to take steps to ensure that every shipping line, commercial shipping line and terminal operators, you must make it possible for port users to get their commercial services and operation services on weekends. If you don't make it possible, then you cannot take the storage charge. Because you are forcing me to leave your cargo on Saturday and Sunday. At 8 p.m.T, I can get, if I pay storage on Friday and I want to take my cargo on Sunday, I can download their debit note, I can pay it and then take it. But if I have any other terminal, for instance, I can't do that. So you force me to keep my cargo in your terminal on Saturday and Sunday, I pay. That is making the cost of goods and services more expensive to the final consumer. So that's a takeaway assignment for Nigerian Shippers Council. So let me stop there with you. So, permit me, sir, as I take one question from this way. So, SACO, the managing director of SACO has done a lot to modernize the services at the airport. Now, key question for you. The Federal Executive Council long ago approved 24 hours operations and all terminal operators to operationalize this decision so as to optimize value chain. Operators at the airport, including myself, are asking, why are terminals at the airport not open on Sundays? And on Saturdays, they open for shorter times. But at the baggage section of the airport, custom officers and ground handling is available on a 24-hour basis. So why do you allow people to stay in their port, leave their cargo in your port, in your terminal on Sunday or late on Saturday, and they cannot get their cargo out? Thank you.
Good afternoon. Answering that question, I'm happy the moderator has stated the fact that we work virtually 24 hours a day at the airports, and of course that can be replicated too at the terminals. However, we do not work in isolation, and that is the first key issue there. We do not work in isolation. We work with other agencies, and that is why our warehouses are called custom bonded warehouses. That means we work in tandem with customs and their regulations. It is very true from what you said that weekdays we work between 8 and 5 p.m. and sometimes it's slightly extended. On Saturdays, we work between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. And on Sunday, the warehouses are not opened at all. Therefore, when we even receive shipment from various airlines, we have to keep them outside of the warehouse. Then on the first day of the week, they are trucked in before you start thinking of bulk breaking and informing customers of their goods. And of course, time is lost to all of these things. So if, like my brother said, the chairman, he said, we all know the problem. It is providing solution we're talking about. And for me, the solution is for us to, come to terms with the fact that all agencies that work at the airport, from plant quarantine, annual quarantine, customs, and all agencies are there. Of course, we as SACOL are ready to work, and we're ready to work 24 hours, which we already do. at the airport side. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So a key takeaway here for us is that terminal operators at the airport need to operate on basically on a 24-hour basis, 7 days a week, as we have in other countries. And as the seaports are also striving to do. Apapa Port, Tinkan Port, and I think Lekki Port are all doing 24 hours. So why can't you do that in the cargo section of the airport? Because that is already been achieved in the passenger part of the airport. So customs and all the other units you work with, it's a takeaway here. They have to work together to open the ports, 24 hours, the airport. So Alhaji Sada Ladan, you are the chairman of the export group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, as well as group director of Dangote Cement. Now, with the advent of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Nigerian government is very focused on promoting exports, whether finished products or value-added agricultural export. Now, the Nigeria Customs Service and the Central Bank have taken recent steps in promoting the export sector. Customs recently in Lagos designated Lily Pond Terminal as the only export seats in the whole of Lagos State. No matter the port you are shipping from, Lily Pond Terminal will release it. I'm correct, sir? Thank you. So, 2 questions in one. How has this decision by customs impacted exports? Has it promoted it? Is it faster? Second question, what is the exports group of the chamber doing to further promote exports in view of the federal government's focus, particularly in the area of digitizing the export process? Because the export process is not as digitized as the import process in Nigeria. To export cargo is not as digitized as the import process. So please, could you hand the microphone to him? Yeah. If it's not on, okay. Use it. Thank you, sir.
So, moderator, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to really shed some light. You know, export is involved in everything. All sectors you can export. However, as you said, I will focus my response to just 2 key areas. Number 1, we should be able to identify what our problems are. The problem with Nigeria is that we like to say things, but we don't even know what is wrong with us. Why do I say this? We're talking of digital economy by the government, this present government. Here we are, we're talking of digitalization. Why is the representative of the Ministry of the Digital Economy? There are policy issues which need to be addressed. And if we continue to allow people or agencies to compartmentalize their operations, we will not go anywhere. Let me tell you one good thing that Nigeria Customs did. About 4 or 5 years ago or so, I was at Seme-Border, and there was a big retinue of all these guns and their customs bosses there. And I said, what's wrong? And they said, no, the ACG or the controller, they are coming to inaugurate the seamless transaction between Nigeria and Benin. That if you key into the portal all your documentations, you don't have to come and do it the same in Nigeria. It is something that is very commendable. It eliminated a lot of bottlenecks. So if you deal with the freight forwarders in Nigeria, when you go there, you don't have to give them fresh set of documents. That has really helped. It is helping me now because I'm moving over 500,000 metric tons of cargo to Ghana and Togo. So how do we leverage, how do we build on those kind of successes? My appeal to custom is please don't compartmentalize your operations. What we are talking here, what we are about to discuss here, the actual controller or the department, they are not being represented. whatever we're saying will end here.
That's why we're going to write a report.
No, wait now.
That's why we're going to write a report. Be sure of that, sir.
No,
We are aware of that
So-
as what has happened in the past. It's not going to happen with this.
No,
Please go on, sir.
I am developing my discussion because the LCCI is structured in such a way. We have an advocacy group. All right, we have a chairman who just took a little leave. I will ask you to introduce him. He is the head boy of all the chairmen. All of us report to him. Like we meet once every month and we must give all the issues. So if there is any problem from LCCI, we're going to hold him accountable, not the president. So what I'm saying, we have a robust system. Now coming back to this issue of digitalization that we're trying to do, our policy is first and foremost to get all the stakeholders aligned and to buy in. Because if one aspect of government is not in, we will not be able to succeed. And along this line, there was a complaint, or there are a series of complaints that we got from the freight forwarders. If they are doing export, they go to the port here in Apapa or these places, the customs officers there will say they are going to revalidate their NXP. To me, it sounds strange. I discussed with my brother this thing. He said, no, there is now a central unified command for the whole of Lagos. All right, you now go through Lily Pond. What if I'm going to export from Lekki Freeport? Am I going to come to Lily Pond? No, these are the kind of hard questions we need to, and our advocacy chairman must lead. LCCI, I promise you, will lead to find solutions. Because when customs took that kind of decision, I do not recall if they sought the opinion, all right, of the chambers. They just took the decision. Customs is not military. You are rendering services and you should take into account what the views of the people you serve. So I will not say much on this. The LCCI will engage them. We're talking of this issue of, I think I mentioned the issue of revalidation of NXP. It is only in Lagos here that they're doing it. If you go to Badagry border, which is still within Lagos, there is nothing like that. If you go to other places, it's only here, if you are shipping out containers. And I was telling my brother there with the custom, some of the demands they are making is that you will list out the names of the container numbers in NXP. How?
It's not done.
It's not done. So, but that is why Shippers Council must be more listening. We are here now, we're going to tell ourselves the home truth. Mr. President, we need the Shippers Council. We need the Shippers Council to be more engaged. Because most of these things that we are talking, though our advocacy and what have you, the Shippers Council are the first point of complaint, and they are not helping matters. There are so many things that they can help us to achieve. I'm here, he's near me.
He's taking notes.
Yeah, so we assure you members that going forward, you will hear, we have a bulletin, and you are going to hear a lot of developments. If we don't tell the government and the relevant agencies what our problems are and get them to do their work, we will not succeed. Secondly, I would like to touch on these barriers of trade. There are so many, they are still there. They are still there. And one of these is the cost of doing business. Nigeria Railway Service just spoke now. And between you and me, I will ask Railway, you don't have to reply now.
Yes, sir.
No, I don't want you to reply because I want you to do something. That's why I say I don't want you to reply. Compare the cost of taking a trailer of sugar or of groundnuts or anything from here to Kano compared to the cost of carry railway itself taken to Kano, assuming that you are running very well. All right? You find that at times the cost of using the railway is more expensive. Why? You have only one truck head, one tractor.
No, don't answer for him.
No,
you said he shouldn't. So
okay,
you've raised your question, so that's fine.
Mr. Chairman, one of these things about this issue of the digitalization. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
One of this cost of the digitalization.
You need to round up.
Yeah, that's why I'm rounding up, because you gave me two questions in one.
Yes, it's true. That's why I've not interrupted you, sir.
Mr. President, the Maritime, the Shippers Council are here. For over 15 to 20 years, the government has been accumulating a lot of money that we call ship acquisition. How do we free those funds so that Nigerian businessmen, freight forwarders, they can buy these small trawlers or acquire or lease? For as at now, you can't take goods from Nigeria to just across the road Ghana without paying 18% duty, or not what they call it, VAT times 3. It is cheaper for you to bring in goods from China than to take goods from Nigeria to Ghana. These are things that I'll only mention them, and then they will come part of our advocacy.
Okay, sir.
There is so much later if there's a
there will be another round. Let's stop.
Be a roundup so that we
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the queries you've raised, sir. Mr. Romobo, you're representing the controller of area controller Apapa Port, Dr. Lomo. Okay, so for me, ladies and gentlemen, the word NXP form is the equivalent of Form M for importation, NXP exportation. I think Form M's are valid for 2 years or 1 year. 6 months, 1 year. 6 months, well, depending on what you. 1 year. Okay, so you can always extend and revalidate if you need to. So the issue of revalidation of NXP, maybe we'll allow you to speak to that. But I want to ask you, Customs has done so fantastically in implementing World Customs Organization resolutions, particularly on customs modernization, the authorized economic operator, the digitization, and to facilitate speedy clearance of cargo. However, something that reduces the speed in the supply chain is the issue of, I will use the word multiple, it's not alerts now. The headquarters of customs has given an instruction that any unit of customs that has a problem with the value of a shipment should send it to the valuation unit. And only the valuation unit of customs can issue additional duty or verify the value. The theme of this event, supply chain strengthening, the links. A lot of units in customs query the value of cargo and send it back to, some send it to valuation, some refuse to send it to valuation. And even after valuation has verified the value, they still query it. It disturbs the supply chain. What can customs do to stop that? And also, please speak to the NSP issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Moderator. Of course, to the distinguished audience, I greet you all. Like you said, I'm here on behalf of the Customs Area Controller, Papa, Controller of Customs, B.O. Lomo, FSI PhD, who could not attend for some expedient reasons. In terms of the issues relating to revalidation, as it relates to NXPs. Of course, we know that just like the Form Ms, which are for import, the NXPs are for export. And of course, they have their timelines in terms of the durations, which they stand for. NXP 6 months, of course, with the possibilities of extensions as well through the dealer banks. These documents, like I said, these documents essentially are not principally custom documents, but they are documents from the monetary system, that's from the banking system, that has to do with repatriation of proceeds from export. Like you know, the Nigeria Customs Service implements policies from the three major bodies that three major policies that control international trade. Of course, we have the monetary policy, the trade policy, and of course the fiscal policy. All of these policies are not made by the Nigeria Customs Service, but we implement them or enforce them, considering trade facilitation as well. Now, to that intent, we do know that there may be operational reasons that may be necessary by Lillipond, because they are the ones processing the all exports in the Lagos area for now, except for the land borders. Of course, they may have operational reasons for insisting on revalidation. And like Alhaji said, this applies to Lagos, peculiar as it may seem. So Lillipond will have its reasons for insisting on revalidation, but I do know, not standing in for them because I have not communicated with them since APAPA is not the command that processes these exports. One reason for revalidation is to authenticate documents. And of course, we do know that with the kind of system we have in Nigeria, digitalized systems, of course, we have multiple digital systems in Nigeria as it operates today. There is no central clearinghouse for any system, for any organization in Nigeria. And that is why the federal government has deemed this necessary, especially this government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to set up the National Single Window Project, which they are seeking some help from the World Bank. Of course, the World Bank team came in to APAPA sometime last week, and they decided to engage stakeholders on this issue of the National Single Window Project. Now, when that project comes on stream, what it will avail us within the supply chain and as well for regulators, 20 different regulators will put on that single window project so that issues concerning revalidation may no longer be necessary, because in one single entry, every agency, that is 20 agencies that are regulators, will have access to all of these documents. Now, that is a project that is coming up in the nearest future, of course, within this government. And so we look forward to that time when the problems of the likes of Alhaji will now be solved perennially. But for now, we do believe that stakeholder engagement is key, and pursuant to our act in section 29 of the Nigeria Customs Service Act of 2023, it says that we should continually engage stakeholders. And so I will urge the likes of Alhaji and all others within the LCCI to please engage constantly with, for exports, the Lillipond Export Commands, so that you put up these problems to them and they can now see how these things can be better resolved. Thankfully, as he says, of course, the issues in other parts of the country, you don't have this. And so where Dangote operates in other parts of the country, seamlessly they go. He just gave a testimonial of what happened in Seme. And of course, we do know that even when in the last government, there was that closure of the borders, Dangote and Boa were some of those who enjoyed some passage, even where others did not enjoy it. So to that, I think that's on one side. Now to the issue of the
valuation.
Silence, please. Of course. Now, valuation, like the moderator had said, the headquarters had given some instruction, of course, that all matters relating to valuations be channeled to the valuation unit. Of course, that valuation unit is one that is domiciled in its control at headquarters, and of course, they have valuation unit officers posted to all outlets in the field within the Nigeria Customs Service. Now, the process is quite clear. Of course, if there are issues, even during examinations where we try to ensure that what is said to contain in documentation is found to contain in the physical or in examination. Now, where there are discrepancies, of course, these things are raised. If there are issues relating other than valuation, they are sent to query and amendment. And of course, if they are valuation-based, they are sent to the valuation unit. That is supposed to be the process. However, like you would have raised in terms of, you would have observed, some units may decide to go back and start doing some valuation other than the valuation unit. However, everything must still go back to that valuation unit finally, because they are the only ones that are authorized to issue a valuation demand notice. And so anything that is raised by any unit will still have to go back to valuation for that demand notice to be issued by the valuation unit.
Once valuation verifies,
yes,
no other unit can query.
When valuation verifies, the other units are not supposed to query. However, we live in a system where Nigerians more often than not will not want to ask for their rights. Now, the truth is that—
Please, a round of applause. That's right.
The truth is that most Nigerians do not even understand what these rights are in the first instance, or they feel it is time-consuming to go after these rights. Now, either way, some solution will have to be sought. I have had to, as Deputy Controller in Charge Administration, sort out problems relating to this valuation at Apapa Port. And of course, had to speak and intervene to speak to these officers who were asking for some of these kinds, where complaints arise. We then come up to the administration, and then we will be able to get the officers who are asking for these, how did you put it, post-valuation units queries, to now ask them, why is it so? And why should it be so? And if there's no reasonable grounds for them to give valid explanations for what they are doing, of course, we ask them to go ahead and allow this concern.
Very important answer.
So please, when you have issues where there's a clear violation of your rights, of course, there are units within the system where you can complain. If you don't know any, please refer to the Customs PRO. Every command has a public relations unit where you can channel that to. If you can't get there, of course, look for the admin. The Deputy Controller admin can handle, or the Customs Area Controller can handle some of these issues where the matters arise.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
This is a fantastic takeaway. Fantastic takeaway. I like that. Mr. Riaz, you are representing the Managing Director of APM Terminals. Now, APM Terminals spent $115 million upgrading the West African Container Terminal at Onne. $115 million. That's confidence in the Nigerian economy. And according to your public release, the essence was you acquired new equipment, you upgraded facilities, got new RTGs, and the goal is to improve efficiency. Please listen carefully. To improve efficiency, reduce turnaround times, and enhance security at the terminal. Now, APM Terminal at Apapa Port is having some challenges in turnaround time. This transformation you are doing at Onne, when is it going to happen at APM at Apapa Port? That's our question. Because we have turnaround time problems.
Thank you very much. Very valid question. We had a very robust investment in Onne worked. We are as one umbrella as APMT Nigeria. What is the plan for Apapa investment plan, right? We have an investment plan. We splitted that into 2 or 3, we said, which is a short-term investment, long-term investment, and strategic investment. Within that short-term investment, if time permits, it may take little time. I will give an explanation in that with the numbers and values, because I am more a numbers and data person, right? So in the short time, I'm in a position to explain the short-term investment to improve the efficiency. We have number of items where we are investing right now. The ongoing investments are happening now, and the investments are in pipeline. Please allow me to just list few of them. That the ongoing investment within 2 to 3 years, we are investing 25 million US dollar on new equipments. We are going to have some more cranes and the terminal trucks. Then we have a project which is in a very initial stage now. All we talk about the inefficiency here, how to improve the efficiency. We all know that in Nigeria, especially on the Lagos, the road infrastructure is not going to change over the night. We are exploring as APM terminal, as a global operator here in Nigeria, we are exploring that what is the alternate options to adopt to facilitate the trade. So we have a project which is budgeted with a $25 million where we are investing to connect the inland services. Maybe we can say that exploring the options which is underutilized right now, the waterways. We know the congestion on the road, but the waters are free to flow. As NRC mentioned here, we invested as part of NRC as well. As of today, APMT owned 3 dedicated rail services running from Apapa to Ibadan. 3, which means that 180 TU of container within week, we can move from Apapa to Ibadan. In short, we will be connecting that into to the facility as well. In between the facility, we have a program done in that. Then the $10 million, which we are jointly investing along with the customs, $10 million US we are investing on the new scanner facility. APMT Apapa is going to invest on the scanner facility to reduce all the bottleneck, what we talk about, the customs inspections areas. We all know that is taking a longer time. By end of this year, the project is undergoing now. The constructions are happening. There is an investment from the customs. Then we join with the customs and say that we can even contribute to optimize that project and the process to reduce waiting time. Number of containers are waiting in terminal for the inspections. We are investing on 2 more scanners with a joint venture with customs. Yes, on the security and safety part, we used to say that as APMT, safety is our license to operate. And of course, security is our license to operate. Very recent, we have implemented $5 million on the CCTV cameras as of today. In 2025, I'm confident to say that we have not reported any security issues in APM Terminal Apapa with our vigilant and latest technology, which is implemented with artificial intelligence of our camera, which is more than 100 plus now in terminal. Of course, we have few other investments are ongoing right now. The discussions are there. As APMT Apapa, we are integrating our API system with the TTP, the truck ecosystem. So we are integrating that system right now, the system to talk each other. We don't want to have any manual intervention in between to reduce the bottleneck, getting the truck inflow into the terminal. Second, we are in a process creating a new system, which is an access control system for the terminal truck and truck drivers. Tomorrow, we will be able to extend a platform into the respective customs as well as the security, other authorities and organizations within this chain. We can extend the platform to assure that customs or any other security can simply log in into platform and make sure that which truck, who was the driver, what container, where it go. That's
I think I will advise. This is a lot that you are doing. I think APMT needs to call a stakeholder meeting, conference or press conference to talk about what you are doing, because your port is Premier Port in Lagos. I think your terminal too in Apapa Port is Premier Terminal. So this information needs to go out to the public, particularly we here.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
If the moderator permit me 1 or 2 more minutes, right? We have done a $420 million US after the resumption here, where the terminal is transformed from a restaker operation to modern terminal as of today with their RTG operations and all. On top of that, we have a 15 million ongoing project right now. The customs can confirm me that we are revamping entire the facility, including the customer service office, customs office, our staff building offices. The investments are going on. As we used to say that, as we are a lean cultured company, we are a lean culture. We used to say that lean is always talk about the transformation, the change. So the transformation is in our agenda. The investment is in our agenda. We know there are a lot of room to improve.
No, I will have to stop you because you have to go and organize that stakeholder engagement.
Thank you.
This is not a place.
So we do.
So we have. Thank you for answering the question we wanted to. No, I have not finished my session, so you have to wait. I have important people here. My president is here.
Thank you.
Lucky Deep Sea Port. Mr. Dibe. First of all of us in this room are very proud that that's Nigeria's first deep sea port. Please give a round of applause to Lucky Deep Sea Port. We are very, very proud. You heard what he said? He said seamless. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause to Lucky Deep Sea Port for commencing the movement of transit cargo. Because that's the key question I'm going to ask you now. Explain to us about this transit. A lot of people are very happy. Your scanning machines take 5 minutes? 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Please say it.
30 seconds.
To scan a container. Repeat it.
30 seconds.
Customs, you are here. 30 seconds. APMT, are you listening? Mr. President, Chairman, are you listening? Because it's part of the supply chain problem we're talking about. 30 seconds, they're still looking to get new scanners. Please explain to us your transit cargo movement. Is it transit? Are you transiting to landlocked countries as well? Or you're transiting to other countries that have seaports? Have you started transit to landlocked countries? If cargo comes there, let's say there's cargo to Burkina Faso, or Niger Republic, or Chad, can it not be loaded on truck and taken there? Because Nigeria lost all the opportunities for transit when Apapa and Tinkan were inaccessible. Please answer that. Thank you.
Thank you, moderator. First of all, I want to apologize on behalf of my managing director who couldn't be here. It's actually just resumed from his leave. And I want to say a big thank you to the freight forwarding group of the LCCI for organizing this. We need to have more of this to discuss pertaining issues. I want to start with, depending on what data source you look at, the Nigeria is about 60 to 75% of the West African economy. So it's quite natural that we should be the transshipment hub of West Africa. But before now, we didn't have that because we didn't have a deep sea port, which Lekki Port has come in to fill that gap. The shipping lines prefer to move cargo in large vessels, so with a draft of 16.5 meters, we are able to receive the biggest vessels in the world. Then with modern container handling infrastructure, like the superposed Panama ship-to-shore cranes we have, it's easy to discharge those vessels in short time. This allows the shipping lines, save costs. It's reduced port stay, so it saves costs. And it makes it competitive for competing with other transshipment ports in West Africa. We have the beautiful cooperation of the Nigerian Customs Service. The fact that we started transshipment, which is the first of its kind in the country, they were able to come together with a process, within a very short time. And also the Nigerian Port Authority and the Shippers Council were able to also give us competitive rates, so that we remain a choice over other West African transshipment ports. All this with the IT infrastructure, the operational efficiency. We commence transshipment operations in June 2023. This was 2 months after we started commercial operations in Lekki Port. We had the first movement of 407 TEUs to Cotonou in Benin, right? To date, we've had about 40,000 transshipment boxes moved to different ports in West Africa. I think about 50% of those 40,000 we've done in the first 6 months of 2025. I mean, this shows you the scale of growth. Unfortunately, we've not commenced transshipment to landlocked countries. I think this is a very important topic that we need to sit together with the Nigerian Shippers Council, who've been championing the promotion of transshipment.
Customs.
Yes, the Nigerian customs.
Because any cargo leaving the port to a transit border must go with the Federal Operations Unit.
That's right. That's right.
And the landing documents handed over to customs on the other side.
Not just customs. I mean, Dr. Opaifa has made some comments here, which is very crucial for transshipment of cargo to landlocked countries. The rail network, the inland container depots along those lines. So, I mean, all those will really help us explore movement of cargo to the landlocked countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to put this as emphasis. Whenever supply chain and trade facilitation is being discussed, the focus is usually import and export. The World Customs Organization has emphasized and re-emphasized that it is import, export, and transit. Am I not correct, sir? Import, export, and transit. Because during COVID-19, a lot of landlocked countries had high death rates because the multimodal shipment of cargo did not allow them to receive vaccines in time. Even those with seaports had challenges, what more landlocked. So in your conversations, always add transit. My last panelist is actually my regulator. Sorry, sir. You're the last but not the least. So don't flog us because we are the last. And the last shall be the first. The Council for the Regulation of Freight Forwarding is one of the bodies that the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry is extremely delighted that the federal government set up. Why? Just like Dr. Peifa has said, the private sector is not appreciated. Custom license agents, freight forwarders are not appreciated. They are not appreciated in this country. I mean, I've been in the business for 35 years, 1990. We are not appreciated professionally. So we thank the CRFFN for professionalizing the freight forwarding industry, as we call it. So we have even been demanding that Nigeria Customs Service should give us more respect, because we are the critical stakeholders. So my question to you, as crafted by the committee, it's not the ones who have crafted the question. With the advent of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which permits free flow of persons, capital, goods, and services, and the freight forwarders have a critical role to play. What is CRFFN doing to further professionalize the industry to meet up with the customs modernization process? This answer. After that, Q&A, and then we'll close. Because I know they've come back to me.
All right, I'll begin. Thank you very much, moderator. As a matter of fact, I'm happy to be the last to take questions on this panel because I was last to be called up to the stage, but the last will always be the first. Thus says the scriptures. And I say that because I would take your permission, I would take permission from you. The issue I'm about to address will take a little while. So be patient because there's no other panelist that's going to answer after me, perhaps.
Yeah, but see, this is the third time the MC is coming up to me. So
it's all right.
Keep it as short as possible.
No problem. Okay, first and foremost, I want to begin by one observation that was made, which is very critical, that customs agents or freight forwarders are not being appreciated and ought to be appreciated. I strongly key into that. You know why? The way we appreciate the revenue that the customs collect, not generate. It is actually the customs agent and freight forwarders that generate it, customs collect.
Without commission, the agent.
Without commission to the agent.
Correct.
I repeat, the logistics service providers, the customs agent, the freight forwarders, they generate these things, this revenue. The role of custom is to collect it in the appropriate measure as it's been required statutorily. However, they often collect more than they should collect from the agent, leaving the agent with little or none most times. So what I'm trying to establish here is agents should be prideful when customs of the controllers of any custom station declare their revenue, perhaps periodically, how much they generate. They are not the one that generate. You are the one that generated it. So you should take that credit. And we should now begin to request for commission. Statutory commission.
It's done in some countries.
Statutory commission. I was at the level of the last forum, okay, on Bodogu, and my respected colleague and friend, the CG, made mention of the reform on reintroduction of the 4% on FOB. I want to advocate for the freight forwarders that similar percentage should be allocated for freight forwarders in the country. If custom collect 4% for administration of their services, so freight forwarders should be given at least 3 or 2%. Even 1% is enough for us. So I think we should open that conversation strongly in the sense that why do we need this? It ought to be used to solve the problem you asked me. How can, what is CRFFN doing to professionalize the freight forwarders? Of course, you know, there are capital-intensive projects that are required to professionalize freight forwarders, just like we have started in recent times. You can't professionalize freight forwarders without proper upskilling them through education and training. And most especially, you find out that the educational content are lacking because they are not locally domesticated. Most times what we teach them are even foreign-based, which is not out of place, but we need to localize it by developing local content. For example, if I have to teach or train a custom agent so he can be professional in discharging and applying local rules and regulation that applies to the service he does, I shouldn't be teaching him principles of business management. Rather, I should be teaching him the nitty-gritties of customs practices and procedure as it applies in Nigeria based on custom laws. And we're talking about African continental free trade. most of the freight forwarders do not even understand what this means and how to apply them. And this is where CRFFN wants to come in to begin to expose their understanding of what African continental free trade means. How can they take advantage of the provisions of African continental free trade to administer their services, make profit, and make the movement of cargo across the continent seamless? A lot of components of the African continental free trade agreement are not being exposed. For example, rules of origin. How can a freight forwarder take advantage of the rules of origin and apply it so that those goods they export or import that are originating from partner countries within the continent can enjoy free flow? The documentations that apply, what qualifies the consignment or the goods to be originating, of what local content value, percentage of local composition of the production materials qualifies it as originating. Most of them don't know these things. And this is what we want to put together as a curriculum and now teach them from time to time.
Excellent.
Yes. And that is the only way we can be able to professionalize them. I wish you can permit me to throw more light. There's so many things. Another one is we don't even have a national logistic policy. A national logistic policy that should address most of the questions, most of the issues we have.
Sorry, sir, let me just interrupt you before you finish. We've taken a decision. Our chairman is here.
Okay.
That we are going to be inviting you.
Okay.
To our trade group to come and have a session on what CRFFN is doing.
Okay.
And the other is inviting the single window coordinator to come and talk to us as well.
Excellent.
Which we have also discussed, you know, sir. So you don't need to even say all that you need to do here because you are going to have another platform where you have the sole stage.
It's all right.
To do that.
It's all right.
So I
it's
don't
all
want
right.
you to know that. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Or you have any one more thing to say? I can only allow you one more thing. You have any one more thing to say?
Yes, please. And I want to use this opportunity to inform the freight forwarders. You see, sometimes what we look at is not what we should be looking at as freight forwarders. We should be looking at we should be having a global view, a world view of the profession we are actually practicing or we are in, not looking at what benefits me on the short run. This has always been why we have disjointed logistics services dominant in the country. And I'm coming up with so many solutions to address all of that.
I like what you said.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please, a round of applause for all the panelists. I like what you said about the worldview because when CRFFN, we were all part of those that established CRFFN. When CRFFN was admitted into FIATA, that was at the FIATA's conference in Bangkok, Thailand. I was there myself at my own cost. We were all there to serenade and thank Olawaju, Shitu, all those Nigerian Shippers Council, Mrs. Shahoma, for making sure that we got into the Global Association of Freight Forwarders. So when you say a worldview, I understand that. So it's important that when you come to us again, you let us know that CRFFN is registered with FIATA. So we are gone past our time. I'm sorry, I had insisted that every panelist must speak. So it's difficult when you give me 7 panelists. I can't do it in 40 minutes. And I'm sure allowing every one of them to speak, we have important takeaways here. Mr. President, permit me to take 5 questions. Are there any hands? That's 1. I will not do more than 5.
Moderator, I think we should just do 2 or 3 so that...
2? I have only 2 anyway.
That's fine.
Go ahead, sir. Okay 3.
2.
Go on, sir.
Who is 1?
Microphone. He needs a microphone.
Is it 1?
1, 2, 3. That's all.
Okay. Let's...
Okay, another lady then.
Short and sharp.
Okay. Short and sharp. I don't want you to do comments. Ask me question.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
I directed to any of them.
My name is Femi Fajolu. I'm representing the tourism and hospitality section of the Nigerian Bar Association section of business law. And my question is directed to Dr. Opaifa. Dr. Opaifa, it's very good to see you this morning. our sector has been involved with using the train to Abeokuta and Ibadan. But the major problems we've been having is the roads from the train station to the city. A lot of our members are building hotels in Ibadan. You won't believe it. And Abeokuta. But the roads from the station to the city is a big problem.
So you want to know what they're doing about it?
What they are doing then, I know in the US, you have the metro buses. Just like you have the metro, you have the metro buses. Why can't we have the same here? Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 2.
Madam, our member.
Yes, sir. Thank you so very much, sir.
Yes. Question,
My question
no comment.
goes to the APNT. And I want to know why is it that until the container reach 100 days in your terminal before you can grant waiver? And
Thank
then
you.
we want to go to the Custom and the Shippers Council. We want to know the role of the Marine Police Marine. After the custom has released the goods and the police is still detaining this consignment, that we have to go to their office to go and clear ourselves there. Thank you.
Thank you. The third person is
The last
the gentleman
one.
in the cap.
Yeah, the last one. Thank you.
Okay, there's actually a lady behind there, but let him answer.
Speaking from the private sector point of view, the essence of importing and exporting is to benefit the ultimate consumers. We have a lot of stakeholders here. What are we doing to ensure that the final cost of goods that get to the final consumer is cheaper? And it can come from different angles. So for example, I'm moving from raw materials to the port, the road, the rail, the inland logistics, the waterways transport. It's a lot of these goods get damaged. A lot of these goods do not get in good state. And also exporting or doing business in Nigeria is more expensive than some other modernized regions in the world. What can we do collectively, not individually, collectively, to harmonize, making it easier to trade in Nigeria and make it a caveat market? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I will answer that question. Please give the microphone to that lady. She has the last person. And once she finishes asking, I will answer your question, then the panelists answer.
My questions go to CRFA. Why are they used to collect 80,000? Let's say we want to go and register our license with them. Then they will now be requesting that we should pay, we have to pay 80,000 before they can register for us.
Thank you.
So you want them to ask to charge?
No, that's all. That's all. To answer your question, that's the reason we're here in the room today. How can we make, but only 4 people raise your hands, so that's fine. We're not. The reason we are here today is what the committee agreed to do. How do we make the cost of goods and services cheaper? To optimize the supply chain. What are the gaps? What was pointed out by Nigerian Customs is the ultimate solution, the National Single Window Project. That single window project, we've discussed with the coordinator to come here. It is going to be so configured like it is the people that originated it in Singapore, in such a way that there is a time limit for every single activity, from M approval, examination, blah, blah, blah. If the system times it that this is not done within the 2 minutes, it's supposed to be done on 30 minutes, it will flag it. And if it flags it, there will be sanction. There will be sanction for the organization or the person that did not do it within that time frame if you don't have a justifiable reason for it. So when you punish somebody, he will keep that system working. That is why Singapore, despite not having a single raw material, is the global hub of shipping, national single window. So what we are doing here, our report, Mr. President, our chairman, will send it to National Single Window Project. So, to the different questions raised, the first question was
to Okwaifa.
Microphone. Short and sharp. Okay, please, sir.
I believe I have 2 questions. One from you. At the beginning, you said why.
Microphone to answer, sir.
Why is it more expensive for you when you move your goods by train from the port compared to by road? The problems are seated there. the terminal operators, MPA, Shippers Council, Customs. But the CG Customs, the ES Shippers Council, we have all agreed, 3 of us, to meet and play our own part. As the economic regulator, somebody has to sit on the terminal operators, not to charge what they call rate charges. They charge freight forwarders an additional sum of money called rail charges, whereas they don't charge truck charges. And we all know the reason, demurrage. When the rail is efficient, there will be no demurrage, or there will be less demurrage payment. And we at the railway, we're also battling with cost of doing business because our infrastructure is not that efficient enough. So
Yes.
we are looking for people working with Shippers Council to work on people to establish inland container terminal. Then there is double handling. You lift the terminal operators are not aligned. The freight forwarders, custom, whatever we all belong to determine how to move their goods. So they pay emphasis on lifting the container onto the trucks rather than supporting those who want to move their goods by freight. And sometimes it takes days, hours before those goods get out of the port. So there is a tactical issue there, and we are all guilty. But very soon, we will resolve it, and I will tell you why. But on to the last one, you are right. We are not doing the right thing in this country. When the rail was designed by the federal government, the state government was expected to do the road. They did nothing. The thing was completed 5 years after. But good news, Ogun State portion is being done. Ladering, or whatever they call that road. Ladering is being done, or has been done. And the Ibadan one, if the state fails to do it, the federal government has decided it will be in 2026. But we are meeting with the governor to make sure Monia Road and that of Omi Adio is done. Thank you very much. But let me just inform you, the Nigerian Railway Corporation is planning sometimes in September a rail in logistics, supply chain, and trade facilitation roundtable discussion on this same issue of how we can.
A round of applause, please, for that. Beautiful. So, to Madam Musa's question, APMT, could you answer the question? Please, briefly, because I want to close. Yes, it's on.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the question. There is basically 2 questions in building that one question. One is the auction process. Auction process, all the charges are determined by the regulatory authority. We have to get the consent from the regulatory authority to release the container, where the charges are getting waived. And second question is that where the customers are directly approaching to APMT to take out the long-standing containers. I'm very confident that because I'm the right person to answer this question, because I'm approving day by day many charges as waiver to get the container evacuated, because it's a terminal interest, the long-standing container to take out from the terminal, so we can utilize that facility for upcoming containers. So if there are any particular cases, please report to our customer service and do that escalation to us. I'm doing that. I hope it's answered the question. Thank you.
Thank you. Shippers Council, Customs. When a cargo is cleared out of customs control, that's what WCO says. When it's cleared out of customs control, why would the Marine Police stop it?
So once again, good afternoon, everyone. I think we have a robust understanding with Nigerian Marine Police. We have an understanding with them, and we always ensure that whatever cargo that is flagged, there are some cargo that they can say probably this cargo is of interest, maybe for security reason. Whenever cargo is flagged, they have every reason. It is an obligation for them to notify the Shippers Council, and Shippers Council will go into it and will ensure that such cargo, whether if it is not a security cargo, we ensure that that cargo is released. That's what we.
Although from my experience, they don't talk to Shippers Council. They call the agent to go there. And the question is, there's port CID, there's police in the port, they signed the examination form. Why should the police outside the port be querying what the police in the port has okayed? That is a question hanging in the air for everybody. So, the customer wants to say something.
Concerning this issue, of course, both of the last speakers have spoken extensively in some way about it. But of course, just like the Shippers Council said, we too as customs, we are obliged to avail them such opportunities because these are matters relating to national security. However, the Apapa Command of the Nigeria Customs Service is in constant engagement with the AIG at Moloni, that's the Maritime Police. Of course, my controller had to visit the AIG sometime 2 weeks back to raise this issue. And of course, we got there, of course, he said, he went there to enlighten them and to ensure that this problem is reduced to the barest minimum. You see, most of these problems are not at the top echelon, but of course at the lower level with the Nigeria Police. And so please, when these things happen, like we said, please try and reach out to the senior officers responsible for this. And some of these complaints will be treated, especially through the Shippers Council, because I know they are doing a lot in that aspect. Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Igwe, you have the last question. This 80,000 matter. Madam, listen.
All right, thank you very much for that question. The truth of the matter is, CRFM charges is the lowest among all the agencies in Nigeria. You pay, it's not 80,000, it's actually 70,100. Anything above that, it's additional, maybe, I'm not sure, that we need to check. So this is one-off payments during your initial registration as a corporate entity, not as an individual. And then your subsequent payment is your annual subscription. I think it should be within the range of 2025 or so. For individuals, it's far less than that. Your initial payment, I think, is about 10,000 plus. And then your subsequent renewal is just about 2,000 or 5,000 thereabouts. Now, compare it to the costs of renewing custom license. Yes, just renewal, not obtaining, because your initial payment for custom license is way far in multiples of millions. You can't compare that with 80,000 naira that we charge you.
Okay.
Take your time, get all the statistics and compare. You will see what I'm telling you. As a matter of fact, this charge has never been increased since inception, since 2007. It has never been increased.
I can attest to that.
Thank you.
My closing statement, relating to what you said. Our committee actually asked us to pose a question to you and to customs. Now that question, I'm leaving it in the air. I'm not asking for your answer because my president wants to hand over plaques to everybody. All of us in our committee have asked. We have checked across the value chain of Nigeria's economy. Every profession that has to pay an annual renewal fee, that of the freight forwarding industry is the highest. I am a lawyer. I'm 36 years at the bar. A senior advocate of Nigeria, his renewal fee is 50,000. Our own renewal fee, how much? 215,000 to customs every year. And to all the terminals, we must get their authorities. That is renewal. All the terminals are more than 20. All the shipping, Lagos alone. I'm not saying Port Harcourt. All the shipping lines, almost 20, you renew as well. CRFFM will charge your own. So the question is, and if you're taking that amount, customs, why shouldn't the renewal be every 3 years instead of every year? And if you don't use your license for 3 years, You want to renew in the third year, custom will tell you to pay for the last 2 years that you didn't operate. So you pay 215, okay, 200, 200, 215. Am I not correct? It is not justified. CRFFN, our agreement was you should take it up with customs on behalf of the agents. Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. A round of applause for our panelists, please. Please,
Thank you so much.
Pictures.
Thank you so much. Dr. Nwosu, thank you so much. I'd like to thank you. Even though you had overshoot your time with well over 30 minutes, but it's understandable. Let's take this first picture. Then the president, let's move closer for a good show. The president will then make the presentation of plaques to our moderator as well as the panelists as we have it. Mr. President, sir, it's an honor to ask you to please make the presentation to these panelists. Femi. Let me have the first one. Yes.
Thank you.
The representative of Mr. Pius Ukenyi Makuta, MON. Yes. Mr. Femi, I think you represented the Executive Secretary of Nigeria Shippers Council. So this is to you. Yes, this way. Yes, Francis. Next is Alaji Sada Landam Baki. Home ground, yes. Alaji, this way, sir. All right, the MD APM terminals and its representative. Can I have Vivian, please join us here, please. Vivian, MDC of Lekki DC Port, the representative, please. Thank you. Please, can we have Vivian join us here? We need your attention here, please. Next is Dr. Ike Nwosu, our moderator for today. Great too. No. Next is Mr. Kingsley Igwe. Not the last, this time around. Please, Vivian, please let me, once received, please box it again and give it back to the owner. Thank you. Next is the MDC of Skyway Aviation Handling Company, represented by our brother. Up to now, they've not given me your name. Adekunle Donadoke, thank you. Last but not the least, the representative of Controller Babatunde Olomu. Thank you, sir. Okay. The awardees should not go yet. You are going to take a group picture with the president. Please don't go yet, the awardees. Last but not the least, I'm told, last but not the least is Chief Las Ali Shobande, the chairperson of the Freight Forwarder Group. Chief Shobande. All the awardees, please don't go. For all the awardees, please don't go. Yeah, no, just the last one, sir. I think it's an honor to have our brother, Dr. Kayode Okweifa, receive his own, MD Nigerian Railway Corporation, receive his own plaques, please. Please hold your plaques. You are going to use to take photo with the president. Yeah, Dr. Okwefa, thank you, sir. Let's have all the awardees out in a group photograph with the president. Mr. President, yes, you are here, sir. Mr. President. Doc. Dr. Kaude. This way, sir. No, nobody is staying behind. So we are maintaining a single. Moderator, let's be beside the. Yes. Yes. Where is your own, sir? Aji, where is yours? Okay. Let's maintain a straight line so that the picture can come our way. Yes. Let's move a bit closer. Please give me one for Dr. Okwefa. Where's Alaji's own? Can I have one? Please, can I have one just for Alaji? Can I have one for Alaji, please? Sir? They said you need to come out a bit. Yes. How is it now? So pull it down. For the final shot, I like to invite the Deputy President, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to stand with the President for this picture, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. So it will just be here. Thank you, sir. Dr. Nwosu, we are taking this picture, please. Paparazzi, are we good? Thank you so much to our panelists and our leaders here present today. Please, we can then get back to our seats. Femi, please, Vivian, let's get the awards and put in their various class. Let's get back. Thank you, sir. Let's get back to our seat, please. Dr. Nwosu, please, let's get back to our seat. We will. Deputy President, sir. Let's get back to our seat as we have the vote of thanks from the Deputy President, Engineer Leye Kupolu. Please, let's be seated. The event is not officially over. Please, let's have our seat. Please, let's have our seat. Please, can we be seated, please? Let's sit down, please, for the vote of thanks from the Deputy President. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Sunday. On behalf of the President, Mr. Gribe Daosa, and the chairman of this group, you all agree with me that this is very engaging, very, very engaging. Nobody wants to live here. I too, I don't want to leave. Honorable Kayode Okpaifa, as even while we are sitting down there,
has arranged that within the next few months, there will be another engagement like this around the same topic, the same issue that brought all of us here. This time around, the vote of thanks is to each and every one of us. I think the next month to you, sitting around you by your left and by your side, just say thank you for coming, because I think we are all in it together. Within the next 3 months, we are coming back together again to discuss. Custom, you have a takeaway. Thank you. Don't just collect, generate. Thank you very much. And every one of us that are engaged today, we say thank you very much and God bless. Thank you.
On that note, we have come to the end of this. But as you know, we began the event with a national anthem. It's also appropriate that we end officially with our national anthem. While the room should be in order, please let's be upstanding as we take the national anthem for a close. Please let's be upstanding as we take the national anthem for a close. Thank you so much. Do have a blessed day. Just to announce that at this point, please be very careful with your mobile items, your iPad, your iPhone, your iPen, your eyeglasses, your everything.